Welcome to the Levrige Show. This is Brett Ingram, and today I want to share with you 3 business lessons you can learn from the movie The Secret Life of Pets. So I took my boys to see Secret Life of Pets a couple of weekends ago, and it's a cute movie about what pets secretly do when humans aren't really around. And maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. So I'm just going to tell you up front, there might be a little bit of spoiler if you haven't seen the movie yet, but nothing too revealing. So there are 3 lessons that you can learn from watching this movie from start to finish that you can apply to your business and apply in business pretty much universally. The first is that no matter who you are or what your business model is, the only thing you can do is expect and to embrace change. Because no matter how great things are going for you right now or how badly, no matter how you feel about the way everything is right now, the one thing that we know that's going to come as time passes is change. We have huge sweeping economic changes. We have changes in the world landscape. We have changes in technology. We have, all sorts of different changes in laws and rules and media and all kinds of things. And so certainly in the competitive landscape as well. So no matter what business you're in or how profitable you are or, how much you're struggling, the good news is if things aren't going where you want them to go, you can expect change. It's your job to make sure that that change is a positive one. If things are going exactly the way that you want, you can still expect change. So again, it's your job to make sure that that change is not negative and that it keeps you moving in the right direction. Because in the movie, you have, the main character is Max, this little dog, and he's just in love with his owner, and it's the two of them, and that's really all there is. But then one night she comes home, and she has another dog with her, Duke, and immediately Max starts to feel threatened. But the fact of the matter is, that's life. That's how life works. We all are in a situation where things are going to constantly change. And so instead of trying to resist it or prevent it from happening, the smartest thing that we can do is anticipate it and look forward to it by embracing it with strategies and with ideas that will keep us moving forward and keep us growing along with that change that's happening. So that's one pretty universal situation, and it happens a lot in the movie, but in particular to the main character, you can feel it because it's such a big deal for him. He was the center of her whole life, and then he totally felt worried that all of a sudden with this new dog, he wasn't going to be that important anymore. He had to share everything. And so he looked at it from the perspective of fear and worry. And it caused him to do a lot of things that he shouldn't have. And ultimately, that's not how we want to run our business and our lives. The second lesson that you can learn from this movie is to not prejudge people. There were a lot of characters in the movie that initially seemed to be one way and ultimately ended up another way. One example is the little mean bunny Snowball. The humans, the police officers or animal control sort of, find him and they think, oh, this cute little bunny, and he's, smiling and everything. And then he proceeds to beat them up. He's obviously a lot more fierce and vicious than they had imagined, and certainly a lot stronger and more powerful. But they saw this cute little bunny, and that's what they had judged him for. That's what they had assumed that he was, which makes sense. I mean, most people would. But in this particular case, that was an error in judgment. They had prejudged him. And then there's another character, Pops, who's an older dog, and he's in one of those rear wheel sort of wheelchair carts for dogs because he can't really move that fast. And so you would think, what does this dog really have to offer? He's old, he's slow, he's not going to be able to do anything if there are any problems. Well, when the chips are down and they need to go rescue Max and Duke, he's one of the ones who leads the charge. He has a lot of information. He has, a lot of connections, and he's got a lot of experience. He's really savvy. And so that ends up playing a huge role in their ability to save their friends. And so, those were two key characters in the movie that at first glance would be very easy to prejudge and to think of in one particular light, when in reality, by just having an opportunity to get to know them, whether it was from a competitive standpoint and not underestimating your competitors, or whether it's from, somebody on your staff or a potential employee or prospect or customer for that matter. You don't know which customer out there knows everybody. You may think, well, what's the big deal? It's one customer. You take care of that customer and you may find your business explodes because they might go out and be an influencer and they might be able to tell a bunch of other people, and vice versa. If they have a bad experience, they could, really hurt your business and you may not ever even see it coming. So it's really important not to prejudge people and to give everybody the same fair opportunity to make themselves be known and be heard. And then the third lesson is that, and this is, I think, the most important one, and this is the most universal one in business, and it's one that's often overlooked in business today because of the digital age that we live in, but it's that relationships are everything. Your relationship with your customer, your relationship with your employees, your relationship with your prospects, all of the relationships that you have in your business with your vendors, with your affiliates if you have them, are absolutely everything. In the movie, when the two main characters run into a problem and they basically get, kidnapped or pet-napped, as it were, it's this little cute dog that has a crush on Max that actually is the one who runs out and saves them. She's the one that leads the charge to save them because he's always been nice to her. They have a really good relationship. She really likes him. And so she goes out and leads the charge to try to save them. And by the end of the movie, and this is where the spoiler alert comes in, Max and Duke, although it's no surprise, become friends. They build a really strong relationship through all of the struggles that they go through together. And even though they started off the movie trying to sabotage each other and trying to make it so they were going to be the only one left in that house, Max was determined to get rid of Duke and Duke was determined to stay. So they start breaking things and framing each other for stuff that was going wrong. What they ultimately end up learning is that they're stronger together. And when they become friends and they decide to share, everybody wins because now their owner is happy, they're both happy, they enjoy each other's company, they're not alone all day when she goes off to work. And so it's really a win-win situation. And relationships in business are no different. You can't treat things like they're transactions on a piece of paper because at the end of the day, we're dealing with other people. And so when you have strong relationships, that's going to go a long way to help you. There's a lesson I learned a long, long time ago, and that is you never know how circumstances are going to change and when you may need somebody. So even if you're in a situation where there's somebody that you have the power to not be that nice to, or to not care about, or to not foster a relationship with, do it anyway. Because you never know when that can come back to help you. You never know when, the difference that you can make to that person and how that's ultimately going to impact your business in the long run. Those are things that are impossible to foresee. And so it's important to build good relationships with everybody because that is how you build a strong and enduring business. And I'll tell you something else. It also is how you build a rewarding business that you're proud to own and proud to be the person running. Because when you can say that everybody around you and everyone that comes in contact with your business is better for it and feels good about you and feels good about doing business with you and your company, that's really something. And that's something to be super proud of, irrespective of the number of zeros on your paycheck or your income. And so those are things that, you can impact people's lives throughout your entire life in a big, big way by being a business owner. So don't overlook that. Take that to heart and really build strong relationships in every aspect of your business. As always, if you have any questions or comments, share them with me at levrigeshow.com or tweet them at #levrigeshow. And until next time, make it happen.